Hey guys, welcome back to the next video. In this video, we are going to talk about one of the important service on AWS when it comes to security. We are going to talk about AWS Shield. Now, what's that Shield? We will talk about the architecture later, but what it is protecting us from? It's protecting us from DOS attack, denial of service attack, and then DDoS attack, which we'll see in a moment. So, if I'm not sure, like last month, which is I guess, August 2024, where I was like hearing about a news saying that there was this Trump presidency, and Trump was giving up this speech on Twitter with Elon Musk. Okay, so this was a big news for security nerds, and as well as like a lot of people actually heard about this news. And I'm not supporting any political parties or anything like that. I just came up with this because it was a real live situation where Trump was giving an interview with Elon Musk. And what has happened is that in that interview, it was supposed to start at a specific time, but then it started 45 minutes late. The relay of that particular live, supposed to be live, Twitter stuff actually happened 45 minutes late. Twitter, formerly known as, currently known as X, right? X.com. So that started 45 minutes late. Now, when inquired about it, we got to know that there was a DDoS attack. Now, what is a DDoS attack? That's what we're going to talk about. Let's talk about DOS attack. Let's see how DOS attack works. DOS attack works very simply. It's called denial of service. So you are going to be accessing as a hacker. He will be accessing the website so many times that it's going to give up and say like that is just I'm not going to serve you anymore because currently all my threads are like full. So this is what the intention of a DDoS attack. DDoS attack is very straightforward. You keep on attacking the server by accessing the server so many times that the server runs out of juice. Okay, it eventually runs out of threads to serve your request. Okay, so what is DDoS attack? It's a distributed way of attacking the same thing, DOS attack. So distributed way meaning like you use Internet of Things, you use your laptop, computer, desktop, and then your mobile phones, any form of internet-based devices, and then you continuously hit the service, okay, and then eventually the computer is going to give up, even though auto scaling is enabled and all those things are there. But do remember, for auto scaling to scale up, you should be actually paying higher for your Amazon Web Services or any cloud provider when you are going to scale up. So it means that the revenue loss for your system, because you keep on, people are accessing it. It looks like hundreds and thousands and millions of people are accessing your website, but it wouldn't actually be the case. It would be, you would be a victim of an attack. Okay, so now the process is very simple. Access the website through your DNS, go through Route 53 if it's hosted through AWS, and then go to the load balancer. It could be application, network, whatever it could be, and then go to the server and get that content from the server. Now, server could have web app and then database servers. It could go to messaging services as well, and then bring the data up. So every time it brings the data up, the attacker attacks again and ask it to get more data. So this way, a distributed denial of service happens. Okay, so this example, what I told you about Twitter or X, is the real thing. And if it happens to such a big website, I mean, the companies which we work for is not prone for it. If it doesn't happen, it's not because that you have enabled a very good security. It doesn't have happened to you so far. It means that no one has actually hacked your website. So that's what it means. Okay. So now, how do you protect your website from such an attack? How do you make sure that you at least stand a chance against such attacks? Okay. So let's talk about AWS Shield. Now, AWS Shield gives you two offerings over here. The standard Shield, which is enabled by default and which is free, and that is this advanced shield. Now, what do you mean by standard shield? Standard shield is provides you, it's a common form of shield which gives a large organizations large scale DDoS attack. So more or less, why it's free? You have to think about that. Amazon wants to protect its service. Okay, so even when we talk about penetration testing, right? So in penetration testing, you will never get an approval for DDoS attack or for testing purpose, okay? Because it's just not your content which they are trying to protect. It's about all their customers. So if a site goes down, not just your application gets affected, but entire application which is hosted on the site is affected, then they have to switch to DR, okay, which is like again additional cost for them. So do remember that they wanted to enable this product as default because they hate DDoS attack, okay. So that's the reason it is there for free, okay. And there is this advanced version of this which is a paid version, and in this version, you will get enhanced protection, real-time attack visibility, and financial protection against large DDoS-related cost. Okay, so these are something which is provided as part of the advanced, option which is available out there for you. I'll show you that on the hands-on session in some time, but do remember that this is a protection which comes by default and you cannot disable this, okay, because no one wants DDoS attack on their platform. So that's something you should remember. Let's talk about some of its key benefits. Key benefits is automatic protection. Now, what do you mean by automatic protection? So the standard shield here is enabled by default, so you don't have to have the option of disabling it or enabling it. And second one is like advanced threat protection, where Shield Advance offers a detailed report on and rapid response during large scale attack on your system or your website or your application. Okay, to just have a look at this, so you can go to WAF and Shield. So you can just type WAF over here and you will get WAF and Shield. And under the WAF and Shield, you will have the WAF as in the first one, and then second one is going to be Shield. Now, when you get started with Shield, as I told you, this is an automatic application DDoS protection layer, and that's enabled by default. Now, what is this pricely stuff? 3,000 a month. That's for advanced, Shield Advanced. So if you want to go for Shield Advanced, you can actually go for that. But I wouldn't say that there is anything like special in there, unless and until you want to have some advanced feature like looking at the attacking report and stuff like that. And until then, there's no point of getting there. So you can see that these are nothing but your AWS infrastructures, your AWS regions and their availability zones, which is under attack. So you can see that the red indicates that the more attack, and you can see the more attack on the UAE side of things, and you can see the I think that's the New York side of things. So that there you can see that there's a huge attack and there's like a huge amount of activities detected and prevented by AWS Shield. So you can see that last 2 week summary, a largest packet attack was 221 Mbps, and you can see the largest byte was transferred was 636 Gbps. And then most common vector was SYN flood. So this is basically a type of attack over here, threat level normal. Number of attacks is 66,540. So it was able to detect this much of a attack which is coming in. And this is basically like constantly accessing your sites and application which is hosted on AWS. And it was able to detect these attacks and stop these attacks. Now you can see that in your account, in my account, there's no event because I mostly use it internally for OpenShift and other stuff. But anyways, that's funny. So you can compare the Shield tier. So right now we have the standard tier, which is enabled by default and it's free. You can see the network flow monitoring. You can see the standard protection for underlying AWS services. But then if you want the layer server traffic monitoring, we will talk about layer 7 later point of time. I'll just give you a quick introduction to it. And then you have layer 3 and 4 migration, anomaly detection. So all those other things with the 24/7 support from the Shield team, with the cost effective, where the cost protection from scaling due to DDoS attacks. So this is a beautiful thing. If you think that your application or your website is going through a frequent attack, and due to which the scaling auto scaling happens, you can actually take this one 3,000 a month, and you can actually save this money where it scales up, and you kind of have this protection saying that you won't be charged for the scaling up of servers. And then AWS Firewall Manager, no additional cost, and then WAF request for protected resources with no additional cost. So likewise, you have some advantages over here going on to the advanced one, but it completely depends on your situation, and it completely is up to your choice and your customer choice, however you would like to. But it is your responsibility to project all these things, all these advantages to your customer, saying that these are some of the advantages why you would go for a monthly payment service. And if that's something which the customer requires, then we will go for it. You can also see the global threat dashboard over here. So it basically tells you every day, and you can see the number of frequent attacks, which just keeps increasing. So you can actually check for last 3 days, last day, likewise. So it just gives you the global threat over here, which shows you the complete the world over stuff. You can also check events which is related to your stuff. You can also see some protected resources over here. You don't have anything as a protected resource, and then you can see the overview of things. So subscribe to Shield Advanced to actually have the benefits, add protects, and so this is incomplete, and you can start the. So we will all talk about this later point of time in the professional ones, but here we're not gonna worry much about this. Here we're just gonna be understanding the overview and seeing and gathering experience on how this guys looks like, how each services looks like, and why there's just so many services. Now, when it comes to Shield, right, it very clearly says that there is no acronym here, there's no short form here. It says AWS Shield. And when you hear the word AWS Shield, it means that it is shielding you from attacks. Okay, so this is what you should remember. It's shielding you from attacks. What attacks? DDoS attacks. Okay, any kind of a consistent attack on your website, it is going to shield you against. So this is what you're supposed to remember when they ask you questions about Shield. So I will give you a cheat sheet, so don't worry about it, which has like 20 seconds of introduction. So I'll just talk about these items, and you can just view the cheat sheet, and then you can go about it. Thank you again for your patience and time. I'll see you on the next video.